so simple, but I think during that time in my life, I was actually eating right, or I had lost some weight, or I was working out. I think there's a correlation there. And then hold on, if that's true, I think the times that I felt the shittiest in life were probably when I was like partying and drinking and overeating and felt really fat and like was so worried. Like, oh, okay. Okay. So there's a momentary pleasure that comes from eating bullshit food. There is. I know. I can have Papa John's right now. I'll get really excited. And then there's a crash. Same thing with sugar. Same thing with being like wasted and feeling like you're numb to your pain. And the next day you feel awful and like you just prolonged your own inner suffering. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so there is a momentary pleasure. But if you have to come to a conclusion, it would be that the times that you felt most alive were the times that you were the healthiest. And it usually was the food and the fitness.
Let's wholesale real estate. We're gonna wholesale real estate. If you wanna wholesale real estate, then you are in the right place. You don't need no money, you don't need no credit. It's so simple that anyone can get it. Luke's gonna teach you just how to get started. All you have to do is learn and apply it. You are in the right place. You're gonna wholesale real estate. You're gonna wholesale real estate. So let's get started.
What's going on, everybody? Sakase Nabule, and welcome to another episode of School of Wholesaling. I am your host, Luke Madeus, and I am here with a special guest, guys. I am here with Justin. Justin's absolutely amazing. He is actually a personal trainer, and he just knows the body like nobody else. I mean, if you're looking to get into your ultimate health, right? He's the guy to talk to. So I want to actually bring him on this podcast today because he's a friend of mine. But aside from that, guys, the reason why I really wanted to bring Justin on here because we wanted to have a conversation. Justin and I were actually sitting down having lunch one day, and we were talking about business. We were talking about the body. We were talking about staying fit. We were talking about staying healthy, right? Of course, health is wealth, right? We're here to definitely build on our finances. We're definitely here to do business. We're definitely here to do real estate. But what good is it to reach a high level of success, right? Or reach any level of success for that matter, and then not even be able to enjoy it because your body isn't in the right state. So I wanted to bring Justin on right now to talk about the body, talk about how to keep yourself healthy, but most importantly, guys, I wanted us to have a conversation about the importance of just how important your body really is. And how it actually correlates with your ability to succeed with what you are, with what you aim to do in your business. So, Justin, I'm gonna let you go ahead, man, and share exactly what you do. I want you to share with people, man, who you are, how you impact people, and just share your story, brother. How are you doing, man? Welcome.
Dude, thank you so much for that intro, my man, Luke Madeus, bro. You just pumped me up, dude. You got me real excited here to share. It's an honor to be on your podcast, brother. It really is, and just to share this moment with you and to just share my story. I mean, I think everybody has a story, and what's interesting is everybody has a relationship with food and fitness. You don't get out of this life without having some sort of a relationship. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're gonna have some sort of relationship with your health, with your food, and with your fitness. And I think when it comes to your audience, and even like me, my life, like entrepreneurship, being solo, like trying to start a business, startups, businesses, like making deals, that grind, hustle life, like trying to create something in the world, be independent, like all of those things are just so connected to your health. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. And that's some of my message to my clients is like, you're only gonna succeed as far as your level of personal development. And personal development is so much about fitness and food.
100%.
Yeah, bro. So for me, just a little bit about my story, dude. So I've been a soccer coach like all my life. It was just it was 2020 COVID lockdown, where I was still coaching, but I was just at a rough place in my life, in terms of my health. And just the soccer coach's life is just a lot of games and practices, and you kind of just eat on the run and you don't plan. And I played soccer, so I've always been like kind of healthy, kind of fit. But bro, I was just like 40 pounds heavier. And then it's just one of those things where you look in the mirror and you're like, nah, bro, I cannot be like this. You know what I mean? And I know everyone gets to those moments. And it was during COVID lockdown and I didn't have work. We couldn't join together as a team. It was just me here. And I was like, I'm either going to stuff my face with food and watch Netflix, which I did like the first week, or I'm going to take this opportunity and go inward and create something like I've never, even dreamt of. So I remember it was around Easter 2020 and it was Good Friday. And I do have like this spiritual side to me that I tie into food and fitness. And I remember it was Good Friday and the whole message of death and resurrection was just really speaking to me. And I was like, man, God, like, if you're real, bro, like I want to die to these old ways and I want to resurrect. I want to be made new. And I knew for me, it was about food and fitness. So, bro, I just began a 100-day journey. And I think it's really true. When you just get sick and tired, you just go in, man. So what I did is I would wake up. I hired an online coach is what I did. And I've never met him. I still haven't met him, but I feel like I know him. And he gave me a meal plan and he gave me a workout plan. And I was like super sketchy about like, what, like online trainer? Like what the heck? He's not even here with me because I've always done in-person sort of coaching, right? And dude, I just took his advice and then I took it on myself to wake up every morning, like at 5 a.m. to know exactly what I was going to eat, to weigh it, to measure it, to have a training time twice a day, to go to bed like at 9 p.m., to like abstain from any form of drinking, to not eat out at all, to like from television. Like, dude, I just went into this freaking like monk, like, but almost like monk fitness. Like it was just this, oh dude, it was one of the hardest times in my life, but at the same time, the most rewarding. And in 100 days, bro, I just dropped 40 pounds and freaking, just got super shredded, like crazy transformation. And dude, after that, I was like, nah, bro, I gotta help people. So I had finished coaching at that time with a team I had been with for a few years, and I didn't know what I was gonna do after that. I didn't want to continue coaching, and so I was like, I'm going to use social media and I'm going to build a brand and I'm going to give people away what worked for me. And I'm going to preach this message of going inward and then changing the whole trajectory of your life through fitness and through food. And of course, for me, through faith. So bro, that was what made me come alive. And now, dude, like I left that job and now I just coach people online. I got a team of about 25 people and I'm just trying to grow and help people and connect with others. And yeah, man, just trying to live like the best and fullest life that I can, though it's hard, though I struggle like sometimes still, just trying to really just tap into everything I was made to be, by God, man. So that's in a nutshell, kind of what happened the past almost 2 years now.
Dude, I absolutely love your story, man. I really do. I'm inspired. I remember when I heard you. For those of you who don't know, Justin and I, we actually got connected through a mutual friend of ours, Sam Crowley, and we had the opportunity to speak together on stage with Sam, next to Sam in Orlando. And so that's how we met. And so when I heard the story, man, the first time, it absolutely blew me away. I was inspired. I'm still inspired today. And so I just want to point out some highlights, man, that I personally felt that really resonated with me. And one of those things was the fact that you looked inward, man. You mentioned that you're very spiritual, and so I noticed as well when you were sharing just now, you were really in your spirit, dude. And so I absolutely love that because that's such an important part, right, of getting to where we want to go, is having that belief within us, right? So when you mentioned, because dude, what you've done was amazing. You lost 40 pounds in 100 days. You know what I mean? You shredded off 40 pounds in 100 days, man. But most importantly than that, you actually you achieve a life where you're operating at higher potential, right? You're operating at a higher frequency. And so I would love for you to share, man, during that time of your life, of course, where you had to go inward. Share with everybody here right now, how important is it to go inward? How important is it to tap in with your spirit, man, at a moment like that?
Dude, it's everything, bro. Like the inner life, the inward life for me. I mean, I'm an introvert, so like it really comes natural to me. But the ability to look into your soul when transforming your body is like they're synonymous, right? It's almost like the external body you have is a reflection of a lot of internal decisions you've made. And so much of our relationship with food, which is what causes weight gain or weight loss, has to do with decisions and discipline. And so much of that is going inward. Like, for instance, man, I'm just so stressed. I'm gonna eat a cinnamon roll. Going inward, like, and that was me, right? That's why I share that. Going inward is like sitting. It's not that the struggle is not gonna come, but sitting with it, staying with it. What is happening right now? Like that would be an example, practically speaking, of going inward with yourself in those moments where you're gonna make a bad decision on food, right? And it's not like you can't have that, but like when you have that lifestyle of doing that over years, you're 40 pounds heavier no matter what. So that going inward for me in those moments is key. But then there's like morning process of going inward. So I still get up now it's at 4:30 a.m., but I spend about an hour and like, look, I'm a Christian, that's my faith, but I have clients that necessarily aren't, or other faiths, and I just try to encourage everyone to go inward in whatever faith expression, or even if it's not even like anything with faith, just a moment of stillness with the breath, with meditation, to realize that you are a human being, not a human doing. And your external transformation will only take place as a result of an internal transformation. And that internal transformation requires the work of discovering your inner life. And anyone who like has a transformation and loses it, like you see this a lot. People lose 20, gain 25, lose 10, go back up 15. Their inner life is a mess. When you have a real transformation, bro, and you realize you restructure your relationship with food and life, you don't gain it back. And I'm not trying to promote like an only an image-based world or something like that, but it's more about like you've learned how to master these passions and desires and lusts for food and alcohol and partying and drinking and not working out and being lazy, all of these vices that can run a man, bro, and run a woman. It's just so they're very much connected, to answer your question.
Yeah, man. Wow. It's and that's something that most of us, it's easy for us to get stuck in that physical world, right? Get stuck in that physical world and those vices, because we're all, we're all imperfect human beings here, right?
Yeah.
None of us are perfect. And so it's easy for us to get stuck in those vices, man. So so if you don't mind sharing, the you before you lost those 40 pounds, man, because the you right now is just, I've only experienced you after all of that, right? So,
yeah.
So you're absolutely rock star, man, and you're just absolutely amazing to be around. You're just absolutely amazing in what you do.
Thank you, brother.
You have an awesome business, very successful, and so what I would love to ask you, man, is the you before you lost those 40 pounds, the you when what was life like then? And what is life for you like now, after you went inward, after you did the grit, after you went through and just challenged yourself to be better and succeeded at that?
Yeah. So that's a terrific question, dude. And so if you knew me like 3 years ago, and then you knew me now, like I have friends, like it's not like I'm like a completely different person. Like, whoa, that's an old Justin. Like, cause I've always just had this personality. Like if you're hearing me now and you know me from before, like it's not like some people have that transformation, but for me, I've never been like that, because my own personal struggles towards the question that you asked were more about when no one was looking. And it was more about like the inner voice in my head. And it was more about giving up easy. And it was more about a lack of insecurity. And like, I would never get on a podcast like this, or have my own podcast, or post on social media, like the courage that I gained. And I was so scared and valued other people's opinions. But when you go through the muck and the mire and change your body, but more than anything, change your inner world and restructure it through discipline, you stop caring what people think, man. You lose it, bro. You lose it. And then once you like start trying things and things start working, and then you get some hate and you keep going, or whatever it is, you just earn those stripes and you keep going. So I think, yeah, to answer more of your question, it was more of like an inner voice, like a victimization of life and an inner sadness that I carried that I wasn't too proud about. And it does come back, but I'm so strong now that it won't ever get back there. And I'm so much more confident about the trajectory of my life as opposed to back then. I was like, bro, I'm just trying to make, ends meet for the month, that type of mentality. So yeah, bro, just operating at a new level, a new energy. Yeah.
And I love what you mentioned earlier, bro. You mentioned that you went from, you wanted to be a human being versus a human doing. And I think that's the first time I've heard that. I've heard that before, and I absolutely love it, man, because similar to what you were just saying, there was a time in your life where you just kind of just making ends meet, right? Just kind of just doing it, right? And now like you're more being it, right? You're here, and what you're doing, man, you're changing the trajectory of the lives of other people, because, and this is, and let's go ahead and dive into the meat and potatoes, because this is really where it matters, right? In keeping yourself healthy. And so this is something that I've even experienced in my own life, man. When I started to take my health a little, more seriously, and I started to, pay more attention to what I was putting into my body, I noticed a tremendous difference in not just the way that I felt as a person, right? Not just the way that I felt within my own meat shell, right? But also, dude, it also impacted the way that I existed, the way that I showed up. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And that bleeds into everything that you do. So I want to just touch on this, because this is where we're gonna get. Sorry, this is where we're gonna dive deep, man. We're gonna dive deep.
This is good.
Right into the essence of exactly how important it is, and what the benefits of keeping yourself healthy. Because for most of us, we can only see, again, the physical, right? But we don't see how the way we care for our body also bleeds into the way that we care for other things as well in our life.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, I would love for you to touch on this, because everybody listening right now, we have over 1,000 listeners listening to us right now, right? Mm-hmm. And so I want to share, man, because this is something, again, I've experienced this in my own personal life, and your story, man, is just this resonates with me so much, because even outside of being fit, right? What it took you to get from where you were and where you are now, it's the same amount of, it's that same mentality that's required to succeed at anything else, right? And so there's a lot of correlation here. It's not just fitness. It actually does bleed into business. So a lot of people that are listening here right now, they're listening because they're here because, they're here for business. They're here because they want to make, either make a lot of money, or they're here because they just want another way to make money, or they're here just because, they want to supplement, they want more freedom, whatever the case may be. They're here because they want to do business. And so a lot of times it's hard for us to associate the power of keeping our body fit and how that can affect us in business, right? And so I just would love for you to dive deep, man, into just, how important it is to keep your body healthy and how that actually bleeds into other areas of our lives. You mind talking about that?
Yeah, dude. Oh, hell yeah, man. That's such a great setup, great question, great conversation, man. It's interesting, like what let's take it like really deep. Like what is the purpose of food, like for the human experience, right? It's essentially like energy that we need to survive. No one can live weeks on end without food, months on end without food. You will not make it in our reality, in our existence. So if that is true, then that would mean that the quality of the food would determine the quality of the human experience, and poor food would lead to poor human experience, and high quality food. And for me as a trainer, it would be macronutrient specific, proteins, fats, and carbs aligned. You can really heighten your awareness in life through the foods that you eat. And people know this, right? People know this. That makes sense, right? Like science, like, but who does it, bro? Who does it? And who has the strength to do it? And who can do it for a long time? And for me, bro, like I just realized like how much more vicious I can get when my food is aligned. And you were saying this the other day, and I love this statement, and I even wrote it down when I left. It was like, when I think about the times that I've been the most successful, or been the most present, or made the most money, or connected with people the best, I think I was feeling healthy. And it was like so simple, right? It was like so simple. But I think during that time in my life, I was actually eating right, or I had lost some weight, or I was working out. I think there's a correlation there. And then hold on, if that's true, I think the times that I felt the shittiest in life were probably when I was like partying and drinking and overeating and felt really fat and like was so worried. Like, oh, okay. So there's a momentary pleasure that comes from eating bullshit food. There is. I know. I can have Papa John's right now. I'll get really excited. And then there's a crash. Same thing with sugar. Same thing with being like wasted and feeling like you're numb to your pain. And the next day you feel awful and like you just prolonged your own inner suffering. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so there is a momentary pleasure. But if you have to come to a conclusion, it would be that the times that you felt most alive were the times that you were the healthiest. And it usually was the food and the fitness. So what I'm trying to do is get people to see that, because if you want to be a better entrepreneur, you gotta be healthier. Nobody wants to be a fat, rich guy. And I know that sounds so mean, but what's the point of having all this money and you're there fixing your shirt and you're scared of what people think and you can't even pick up your kids and what? And it's not like you got to pick either or. Why can't you have both? Why can't it's not being a bodybuilder or being ripped, but it's about being the best you that you know you can achieve and still making the wealth. Right? I'm not pushing for people to look like people on magazines. It's more about you. You know what's hard for you. You know what needs to be done. So being able to choose those right food choices, train on a daily or whenever it is your times that you pick for yourself or that I can prescribe for you, and then sticking to it, and then having a body that you're proud of, that your spouse is proud of, that your kids are proud of. You know, and that, man, that just explodes your business life. Like, talk about creativity levels. Like you just get so much more creative because you're more aware to your surroundings. I'll say this to close on this question, brother, because we can go for a minute, but like, who's ever done anything productive after smashing a fat stack of pancakes? Like, come on. Who's ever like done anything productive, bro?
You get the itis, you actually want to take a nap.
You don't want to take a nap, bro. Like, come on. So that's my thing, man, is like we need to connect these things. We need to connect these things. And for me, like, it's not just food, fitness, it's faith, bro. Because in order to keep you sustained on it, there needs to be some relationship or connection to yourself or to a higher power to be able to sustain you. Like, you can really get to know who someone is when they're very hungry. Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. There's something very spiritual about that. Real emotions, raw emotions come out when I have a client who's like, dieting and wants to get to the next level. You get to experience like who someone is, and I see it in myself too. So those are just some of the things to breeze through your question and answer it. But I know we can go longer.
Dude, and I love what you shared, brother. Like, you shared food, fitness, and faith. And dude, that's actually an awesome shirt, by the way, man. If you want to and make a shirt out of that,
word,
and just start selling it, because it's an amazing. I mean, that's amazing, bro. I mean, it's important. Your quality of food. I love what you said. Quality food equals quality experience. I actually wrote this down, man, because it's so important. A lot of us really do. Most of us, should I say, may not pay attention to the quality of food, right? We all know, of course, because we were taught growing up that, we know the difference between, we know that we should all eat our greens, right? We should all eat our vegetables. Yep. Our parents let us know, right? You should eat our vegetables, right? And so, so the thing though is, when you talk about the quality of food, I mean, it's one thing to discuss about just, eating healthy, right? Knowing to pick the greens every now and then, right? Not saying we shouldn't eat the meat, just saying, to pick the greens every now and then, right?
Yeah.
And, because the greens are nourishing our bodies. How important is how just important really? Okay, let me say this. How really important is it that we pay attention to not just the food that we're putting in our body, but also the quality of the food? I want you to just dive a little bit deeper into that, man. And share a little bit more as to what you mean between the quality of food, because like you said, the quality of food equals the quality of your experience. And I think that's very, very important, because we all want to experience a high quality of life, right? And that all starts within us. And so what should we be mindful when we're putting in our body?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's so typically, like when someone who isn't as familiar with nutrition or quality of food hears that, they're thinking like, oh, maybe I should buy organic, right? Or should I not buy organic, or what, because there's kind of like, does that mean it's like higher quality? Does that mean it's like healthier? Or maybe I should shop at Whole Foods, like right there. So like, you can still be unhealthy and eat like supposedly clean foods, right? Like you can have some, I don't know, avocado, almond butter, like a really grass-fed steak, like, and you won't lose weight if you don't have something else right. And so for me, the way I coach, if someone wanted to work with me, is I get really specific, man, and I take it down to the grams. And so I'll be like, I'll look at someone's body and I'll know what they tell me they want to do and create with their body, and then I'll prescribe for them exact protein grams, fat grams, and carb grams. And then from there, we'll choose high quality foods to meet those. And when you have that combination, like, bro, you're crushing it. So a carb is a carb, right? You can feel energy from having a banana, that's 30 grams of carbs, and you can feel energy from having Frosted Flakes, which is 30 grams of carbs. And you might even lose weight having either or, but the quality of the banana would make you feel way better in the long run, and it's packed with other nutrients. A lot of people aren't drinking enough water, man, to be honest. And the big one I see, especially for guys, believe it or not, and girls too, but guys, they think they're getting so much protein by eating like lots of beef or things like that. And really what they're doing is they're putting a lot more fat in their body than they need to. And most guys are not getting enough protein in their diet. And a lot of women are eating way too much fat in their diet because they're scared of carbs. So they fall for things like avocados, or I don't know, like butters and stuff, and peanut butters and just people are very uneducated when it comes to reading food labels and then making appropriate decisions. People read the front, which says like low fat or high protein, and they don't take time to understand the grams. But when you understand the grams, bro, it changes everything, and you're able to look at food and know exactly what's in it. Like I can tell anybody what to eat to get lean. I can look at any plate of food and I'll tell you the grams in it, just because I've been doing it for like 2 years, like every single meal. And that's how you build discipline, honestly. And the only way to lose weight, you talk to anybody on any plan, because I'm a trainer amongst many, it's all going to come down to discipline. That's going to be what changes your body and gets you weight loss or muscle building or whatever it is you want. Like it's going to be discipline.
Awesome, brother. And I just want to ask you, this, man. So, we touched on how important it is for what we're putting in our body, and we also did touch on, how important it is to keep our bodies fit. And so let's talk about a little bit as to, let's discuss how important is it when it comes to doing business, right? So you're also an entrepreneur yourself. You also are running a very successful business, and so I would love to know, man, just from your perspective, how important has your own health been and being successful with what you're doing? You mentioned that from our last conversation that correlation, and like we were talking about, between times when we experience a higher performance versus a lower performance. So you want to talk about that just a little bit?
Yeah. So it's interesting. Like before I talk about the food and stuff, I want to say, like, for me, like, sleep is very important, and a lot of people sacrifice that to work ahead. And there's certainly times and seasons for that. I really do believe that. But overall, like a really good sleep schedule that's consistent actually helps with losing weight and helps with hunger cravings and hormones and actual brain power and being able to choose the right foods. But yeah, so for me, like the food and the sleep is a big deal when it comes to my productivity levels in business. When it comes to like my industry per se, which would be like cold messaging people or trying to make connections with people, sales, like you have to really like get to a point, and I think for all entrepreneurs, where you're okay with hearing no. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And when you're okay with hearing no, like you sort of go on offense a lot more. But a lot of people, when they hear no, they get sad or they get discouraged, or if their business didn't have a good week, right? And then so what happens is you end up having to take it out somewhere. And so some people use alcohol, some people use Netflix, some people, and this is why I bring this up, overeat, right? Or they take their stress out on some dessert or something like that, and then they sacrifice their health so that they can like cope and then try again another day, and then they think they'll get to their health later on, when they make it, and then you trade all that wealth now you got to use it towards the health. So for me, like I put my health before anything, like before business. So for me in the morning, it's like I'm going to train and I'm going to set up everything I'm going to eat for the day before I even open up Instagram, because that's the app I use most frequently, or before I make a podcast or like message a client or a potential client. Like I am going to take care of my food, my faith, and my fitness before any of that happens. And because that's essential. And so having that like dialed in and locked in, because a lot of people, bro, they just try to fit it in. And when you talk about food, it's like, well, we'll have a luncheon together, we'll go here, we'll go there, we'll go have drinks, we'll network. And then it's like, how are you treating your relationship with food and alcohol? And then when it comes to training, it's like, oh, I got busy today, I couldn't make it to the gym. I was like, oh, well, yeah, we're all busy, but you would have planned it better. You would have a routine. And then when it comes to their inner life or their faith, it's either like, well, I'll just, go to church on Sunday, or, I got my Bible app that sends me a line every day. Like, bro, like, no, you need to have deeper relationships with all three of these things: fitness, fitness, food, and faith. And family is another one too, but those are my big three. All of those things will translate into, if you're wanting more money or if you're wanting more success, you're going to get it by mastering these three things. And here's the thing is, like, even if like you don't do it so you can get success, because even if it doesn't come, you still feel like a badass because you're mastering what's hardest for you: the fitness, the food, and your own inner life. And so regardless if it comes, I'm going to be okay. Whereas the opposite, that's like, oh, it didn't come, let's go to Cold Stone and have ice cream. Like, no. So yeah, bro, they're massively connected, more connected than people think. If you're listening and you're an entrepreneur and you're a businessman or you're a businesswoman or you're trying to start something up, so much of what you're going to be able to achieve has so much to do with what you eat today and how you train and how you rest and your inner life. All of it. And I know it's like, it's easier for me to say because I'm in the actual industry. It's not like I'm, doing something else like real estate, right? But it's like, it's so important for all facets of life. And we know this, but we don't have a plan and we don't take it that serious. And I want people to take it more serious, man, because it will lead to their growth.
Yeah. I love, that is so well said, bro. Like, and I love everything that you said right now, guys. If you're enjoying this, please be sure to leave a review on this podcast, because what we're discussing right now is, we're going really deep, and we're doing this for a reason, because this is something that most of us, it's easy for us not to be aware of how important this really is, right? Because everybody wants to be successful, right? And everybody has their own idea of what success looks like. For some people it is business. For some people it's just strengthening their relationships. For some people it is actually having the body of their dreams. But in every one of those examples, right, how you show up in your existence called life is everything, right? One of the things that one of the greats, Tony Robbins, shared, right, is the importance of your state, right? How you actually exist as a person every moment of your life, right? Whether or not you're in it, you have a lot of energy in you, and you're ready to talk to people, you're ready to be, to be at your best, right? You're approaching life with a mentality that's like, I'm ready to, I'm here, I'm present, I'm loving life, and I'm here to be a positive force, right? And so that's an entirely different way to approach life versus approaching it in what I consider stagnation, right? Which is the opposite of that. And so I absolutely love what he shared, which is state, what you tell yourself, your language, but most importantly, the physiology, which is your body, right? That's your body. And that is the foundation of everything. Because just like you said, there's a huge difference when you are feeling yourself, your optimal health, right? And it's so important, man. I love what you said. Like you make health your number one focus. And what I love about you and is that when you are an example of what it's like to give health your number one focus, right? As a personal trainer, that is what you do, right? You focus on health first. But I love to see that because I see it time and time again. The people that take care of their bodies tend to really, 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 just have the energy that they need to conquer their life. You know what I mean? To conquer, not saying that you don't have the days where sometimes, that ice cream, it's looking really good.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't want to give people the impression that I'm so intense. Like I don't have an ice cream, but it's about not being ruled by it, bro. Yeah. That's it, man. That's it. It's the same thing with monetary possessions. It's like, oh, that guy has a Lambo, or there's nothing wrong with that, but is he ruled by it? Does he stand in front of it? There's a difference there, bro. There's a difference between a validation from our emotions from food or from monetary possessions. And it's like, nah, if you really go through it, you're attached. You're attached and you need to reconstruct that. But yeah, brother, sorry to cut you off.
No, I love that, man, because that's such an amazing point. What you just said right there, which is the connection between the emotional validation, which is really what that is. I mean, you like you said earlier, right? Sometimes we hear the no and our brains are wired to do this. Our brains are already programmed, right? To the minute we hear no and we're experiencing that emotional rejection, right? Our brains go back to whatever our habit is, right? Wherever our home is, our safe place. Mm-hmm. And for some of us, that is, for some people that is alcohol. For some people that may be cigarettes. For some people that may be food. And for most of us, it's food. I mean, food is everything, right? What we put in our bodies. And so we may end up, for one moment, we're 100% in our best state, right? In our best attitude. And we hear a piece of news, a piece of information that changes that, right? In our minds, that flips our state. And the next thing we know, we want to eat the worst thing to put in our bodies. And it's not happening without us really, really being aware sometimes that it's even happening. So this right here, guys, is actually where this podcast is. This episode right here is where you take your power back, right? We're doing this because we want you to take your power back. We want you to be aware of how important it is really to not succumb to that, right? Because, none of us are perfect. I'm not perfect, I have my own battles as well with food. But at the same time, I have noticed all the times when I practice the right health regimen that works for me, because everybody has something, for themselves, right? The right regimen that works for me, making sure that I work out every single day, making sure that I'm eating the right foods, I'm eating clean, I'm putting the right foods, the right fuel into this vehicle called the body, right? And when I do that, I do notice a significant difference in my performance and the way that I appear in life. And so I absolutely love the fact that you dove deeper, man. Yeah, absolutely. Go as deep as you want to, bro, because we're here to do one thing and one thing only, and that's to impact the lives of everyone listening right now, right? Yeah. We're here to help you change the trajectory of your life, right? Whether that's financially, whether that is, in the physical sense, right? Or whether that's in the spiritual sense, whatever the case is, guys, we're here to let you know how important keeping your body in healthy has to do with actually being able to achieve some of the other things that you wish to achieve in your life as well. And so I love everything that you're saying here, man. And so if you could, because we've been diving so deep, man, we've been having this conversation for some time. And I just want to ask one thing, if you can share with everybody in this audience right now, for those people that heard the message, for those people that are like, what Justin and Lucas is saying right now, I see the correlation. I totally understand what they're saying. And, I want to take my health seriously. right?
Yeah.
For those people out there who are saying that right now, Justin, what piece of advice could you give them to help them start their health journey? And most importantly than that, what would you leave with them to help them, to help give them the best odds of success on their own?
Yeah. So here's the thing with this, with conversations like this is, and this is part of the inner life, is you get, based on what you and I have said to the listener, you get these convictions, right? Food and fitness and image, like they're very personal things in this life, right? And they're so taboo too. But they have a way of speaking to us when we're convicted about something. Some people, it's like, I wake up, I look in the mirror, I'm like, I know I got to work on this. Like, don't take that so lightly. Like that's a message from above that you need to do something when you feel that way. And it happens in conversations. You hear people, or you're on Facebook or whatever, you see a picture of somebody that's really going after their goals, and you feel like, it stings a little bit because you're like, I want that. But then you cover it up, or you act like it's not there. Then it comes again. And what I want to say to you, because I say that throughout the play of this podcast, like if you had a moment like that, or even if you feel right now like I should do something, like, my friend, like, that is a message from your truest self, right? Because there's people that don't feel that way at all. They're like, next podcast, I don't care about this. I don't care. I just, it's not a big deal. Like, I'm okay with being fat. I'm fine. I'm okay with operating this way. I got enough money. Like, whatever it is, I have a good business. Like, but when you feel it in yourself and this speaks to you, it means that action needs to be taken. Yeah. And you need to respond, because now we're talking about your health, and we're talking about longevity, and we're talking about quality of life, and we're talking about who you're going to show up for your kids and your spouse. We're talking about the depth of the human experience. Like, we're talking about way more than like fitness programs and almonds, talking about something deeper here. So yeah, like, I mean, someone can, and it doesn't have to be me, but I certainly like would love, I'm looking for more people, always, wanting to help. And so got a great team. So if it's me or if it's someone else, like, just connect, man. And maybe an online trainer, you're kind of iffy about that. I was too. And just the online world is growing and expanding even into fitness and health. But maybe it's you joining a local gym, or just being a part of a community, a new group. Just realize that so much of your growth as a human being and as an entrepreneur, in work and in play, will come down to the quality of the food that you eat, your exercise training, and your relationship with your inner world.
Wow. Yeah. That is just like a treasure trove of just value, man. Like, this is, and I know this isn't, because this isn't something that you hear, a lot about, right? Especially on platforms like this. There's not many people talking about the importance of having a healthy body, man. So I truly appreciate you for, just to take out the time today, Justin, to just share, your knowledge, your expertise, man. And by the way, anybody right now who's interested in getting with Justin, I highly recommend you do. This guy is a wealth of knowledge. He knows exactly what he's talking about. And he looks great, man. You look great, bro. Like, I just want to
thank you, bro. Thank you, big dog.
So no doubt about it, man. So I just want to ask real quick, if people want to get a hold of you and want to work with you, right? Maybe they want to take their journey to the next level, not just from a business standpoint, but also just from an internal standpoint, from the body, from the physical standpoint. And if they want to be able to tap into a higher level of energy within themselves, how can they work with you? How can they even get a hold of you?
Man.
And how can they work with you?
Totally, bro. So I got two places I'm most frequently available. My site is thejustinaguirre.com. That's to book a call with me, like, on my calendar, and we'll just set up a call and see if this is a good fit. That's thejustinaguirre.com. And then I'm most active on Instagram. So my handle is at JustinAguirre7, the number 7. So those are the two places, man. Website, thejustinaguirre.com, so if you're ready to just book a call with me, or if you want to set send me a DM at Justin Aguirre 7, and then we could, follow each other and see if we're a good fit. But those would be the two best places.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. Thank you so much, man, for taking out the time here, guys. This is such an important thing for us to discuss. Of course, like Justin said before, what good is it getting wealthy if you're not healthy? If all that wealth has to go back to your health, because as we know, the world or life, should I say, life is a clock that works backwards, right? Everything we do today is to set us up for tomorrow. And so we're sort of like, at least it's the way I look at it, right? This is just my own personal perspective. Nobody has to adopt it, right? But for me, like, I look at life as a clock that's working backwards, right? Each day we wake up, we're running out of time, right? One thing that none of us could escape from is death. Right? One way or another, we're going to see the grave. You know what I mean? And so, but with that, we can extend the amount of life that we have by just taking care of our bodies, by taking care of the one thing that God gave us from the minute that we created us, which is this vessel right here. And when we put in the things that give it, wealth, that give it health, that give it life, right? We also gain life from that. And so I absolutely just appreciate the opportunity, brother. Thank you so much for coming on the show, taking out your time out of your busy schedule, man. I know you got lots of people to train. And again, if anyone is interested in getting training, speak with Justin. Also, Justin, you have a podcast too, brother. Right?
I do, my man. You'll have to
drop the plug.
Yeah, you'll have to send me this, bro. I want to put this on my podcast too, man. But yeah, it's my name. It's the Justin Aguirre podcast. It's on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. So you'll probably want to spell out my name in the show notes, but it's Justin, and then Aguirre is Aguirre. So it's the Justin Aguirre podcast, and it's a pic of me shirt off on the mic.
Nice. Awesome, man. Thank you so much, Justin. Once again, brother, it's been an absolute amazing experience just sharing this time with you and just taking a trip into the body, man, taking a trip into fitness, taking a trip just food and health, man. And, I just think it's so important that we have this conversation on a business level, man, and just not on a personal level. So thank you so much for being a part of that.
Absolutely, bro.
I have no doubt whatsoever that there's someone right now that's listening in the audience that is just, that just had a breakthrough of their life. You know what I mean? Just a breakthrough that will change the trajectory of their life, man. And so thank you so much for being here once more. Until next time, everybody, I'm Luke Medeiros. This is Justin Aguirre. Thank you again for being here and sharing this time with us. Until next time, let's wholesale real estate. Au revoir. Bye-bye.
See you, man.